Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Amy from Neurotic Mom Bakes, and I'm going to show you the easiest and tastiest waffle recipe. Plus, I'm going to give you lots of different tips to help you keep them warm to serve all at once, keep them crispy, how you can store them, how you know when they're done, just lots of different things. So let's get started right away. We start with our dry ingredients. We're going to do 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Don't forget, the proper way to measure is to fluff your flour with a spoon and then lift it into your cup. However, if you're working in grams, that's not a problem. It'll be 240 grams. Okay, after that, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar, granulated sugar. I've already measured that out. And then 4 teaspoons of baking powder, not baking soda. They are not interchangeable. Make sure it's baking powder. This gives it the rise, the fluffiness. 3, 4. A half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside for a minute. Now this step is really important. This will also give your waffles a better texture, make them a little bit lighter and fluffier. I'm going to crack my eggs into a separate bowl. I have 2 eggs here. And then I'm just gonna get a fork and I'm gonna whip them up really, really well until they get a little bit fluffier. We're just trying to get some air into the eggs here. You can use a whisk if you want. There we go. And then I'm going to measure out 1.5 cups of buttermilk. Now, if you don't have buttermilk, you can make your own. You can use lemon juice, pure lemon juice, or white vinegar. And for every cup of milk, you do a tablespoon of the lemon or the vinegar. So if I'm doing a 1.5 cups, I'm gonna put 1.5 tablespoons of the acid in here and then pour the milk in to measure 1.5 cups, and then I let that sit for 5 to 10 minutes. It will curdle and get kind of that sour, tangy buttermilk flavor. If you don't want to do that, don't want to mess with the time to do that, then go ahead and just use milk, that's fine. But buttermilk will just gives it a little bit more depth in the flavor. I have buttermilk here though. So 1.5 cups of buttermilk. I'm gonna go back to our dry ingredients. There's 1. Now, just depending a little bit on the climate, temperature, environment that you're in, you may need to adjust the amount of milk or buttermilk just by a tablespoon or 2 if you feel it needs, if it's too thick of a batter. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. That's a half, whoopsie. And now I'm gonna pour in my eggs, and I'm just gonna start whisking this all together. Okay, now that I've got most of my dry ingredients incorporated, I'm gonna finish by folding with a spatula. You wanna be fairly gentle. You don't wanna knock a lot of that air out. And I think that's perfect. It's quite a thick batter. It's not as thin as pancake batter. That's perfect right there. Okay, now we're ready to make our waffles. I actually have 2 waffle irons here. I just thought I'd bring this one out. It's really fun. My kids love using this one. Okay, here is the first tip that I've learned. When you pull your waffles out and like you're gonna stack them to, you know, serve a big stack, don't put them on a plate, directly on a plate, because that's going to give you, your waffle's gonna be soggy. So get a tray out. Actually, I have a baking sheet and I'll show you why, and line it with some paper towels. And then you're gonna put your finished waffles on the paper towel, and that will keep it more crisp. Okay, let's start with this one. I'm gonna move that aside. And I like to give it a little cooking spray. Now, I just think ice cream scoops just make it so much easier, because then you just get an even, especially if you're doing this shaped. Mickey's over here, I'll show you that in a second. Now don't worry, this batter will spread. So it just needs to be mostly centered. And let's see how that does. Okay, while that is cooking, if you don't have a waffle iron that happens to have a timer or a green light that says when it's done, the way to know it's done is usually while it's cooking, a whole bunch of steam is coming out. And as soon as that steam stops or is almost gone, that's an indication that you can check your waffle. If you check it before that, you're gonna pull the top half off and you're gonna have a split waffle and it's not good. So you just don't wanna open the waffle maker prematurely. Mine luckily has this green light that will just tell me when they're perfectly done. This one has a beep that will go off when it's done in this one. Okay, this one looks like it's ready. This one is so much fun. We have loved these Mickey shapes. So for this one, I'll do my bigger ice cream scoop for the face. And then I'll get this smaller scoop for the ears. And if you don't have a scoop, just get 2 spoons, get a little bit, and just kind of use the 1 spoon to scrape it out. I probably have too much in here. I think I do. Okay, watch this. This is so fun. I'm gonna flip this, and it's 2-sided. Just supervise children. Ooh, I think those look just about perfect, don't you? Just gently peel those off. Place them on our paper towel over here. And we'll do one more in here. Let me finish my Mickey ones. Put that down so I don't burn myself. I'm gonna do a little bit less in this one. So definitely you can double this if you're serving a larger crowd. Whoopsie. Okay, let me wash my hands. Look at these cute little Mickey waffles. Well, I gotta go this way. So fun. Oh, this one has little wings. This was the one, is this the one I did the too much in? I can't remember. Okay. Okay, so let's just finish up these waffles right here. Oh, I didn't spray the top, did I? Oh, that's okay, they came out nicely. Okay, now if you need to stack them, just put another layer of paper towels there. Okay, so if you want to serve a big plate of waffles all at once, the best way to keep them nice and crisp is, oh, see all that moisture that, I gotta show you this paper towel. Look at all that moisture. That if you put that on a plate, that's just gonna make a wet, soggy waffle on one side, yuck. So instead of after, just letting them sit on a paper towel for just a few seconds, you're gonna transfer them to some parchment on a baking sheet. And if you have multiple layers, just put another layer of parchment on top and put more waffles on top. Then just keep them in a 250 Fahrenheit oven until they are ready to serve. And they will stay nice and crisp rather than sitting out and just getting soggy over time. If you want to meal prep or prep ahead a whole bunch of waffles, all you need to do is place a layer of wax paper in between each waffle, put them in a plastic bag, make sure you zip it up nice and tight, and then it can stay in the freezer for up to a month. And then to reheat, you can either stick them in your toaster if they fit and toast them, or you can put them on a baking sheet and put them in the oven at 300 degrees for 5 minutes, and that will warm them up and keep them nice and crisp. So I hope you learned something new about waffles. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and recipe. And if you want to see more content like this, just make sure you subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next time.